Welcome to the Pinfall podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Marcus.
Hell yeah, let's do this. Let's get into it. Come on, get hyped. Come on. Woo! Woo! Alright, that's cool.
Tonight we're discussing Raw.
Woo! Hell yeah! Raw, best wrestling show. Let's fucking go. Let's do this. Got AJ Styles, we got Bobby Lashley, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, The New Day. What's there to mess up?
Did you black out during the show?
Wait, I'm supposed to watch the show? Oh.
I would have the same reaction, buddy.
I've just been going on Twitter and digesting whatever's posted there.
I have an inescapable tickle in my throat, so I'm probably going to cough at least 40 more times. But that said, happy Monday, it's Raw Day. Today's episode was an episode of Raw.
You know how bad it is when they start off the episode with Ms. TV?
And nothing comes of Ms. TV, really, as far as, like, the original members of, like, who were supposed to be there. I genuinely thought that we were going to get a Rhea Charlotte match.
No. Because that's happening at Hell in a Cell.
Oh, and that stopped them before, you're right.
It actually does. It does stop them.
When is Hell in a Cell? When is
June 13th. Father's Day.
No, June 20th is Father's Day.
Then it's June 20th. Yeah, June 20th.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so we're gonna live in this nightmare for how many more weeks?
Less than 3? Actually, 3 exactly. Maybe, no, yeah. Less than 3.
There's actually 2 more episodes of Raw before Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that it was June.
Yeah.
The Charlie Day, like.
You want to start the news?
You know what? I was just hoping that we could hold off on starting the actual episode as long as possible, but sure.
So just to quickly recap what happened on Raw as a quick summary. Drew McIntyre's going to Hell in a Cell to face Bob Lash. Yay. Miz is not dead. Nikki Cross got a win over Charlotte. And she's gonna be the first challenger to whoever wins at Hell in a Cell. Elias and Riker have broken up because, according to Elias, Riker has gone unhinged and he feels uncomfortable sitting next to him in a car when they're touring. Me too, Elias, me too.
He said that, and I was like, you're supposed to. It's supposed to be in kayfabe, Elias. You don't have to be real.
We saw Damien Priest for 1 second.
Ain't.
And we got Randy Orton versus Xavier Woods, and nothing else happened for the entire show. It was just my screen went black. Nothing else. Nothing else happened.
I feel like other things happened.
No. Nothing that matters anyway.
Okay.
This whole show didn't matter. But let's get into it.
Alright.
The sign.
Yeah. Had to bring back the upside down sign for this one. I was apt.
Even though, like, wasn't even horrible episode. It was just boring and nothing like really came of it.
Honestly,
Nothing exciting.
if the Drew Kofi match had ended differently, this would have been a good episode of Raw. I would have actually stood by that.
Yeah, I tweeted that if they have Kofi beat Drew, it would get a huge pop and a great reaction from everyone. Like, I don't think there would be anyone who would have a bad reaction to that.
And it would have been perfect if he had, because then he's proven he can beat a big guy, like, without any help.
Right. I mean, he's pinned both Randy and Bobby, and he's a former champion. WWE constantly downplays their former champions. Because there's so many.
Remember when we were supposed to get the Drew Jinder feud?
Who? You mean that man still exists? I thought he came back for like a cameo and that's it. I thought Vince just hired him on Cameo or Fiverr.
Oh, laughing to not cry. Okay, let's start the news. I've got the sign up, the bookmarks open. Let's talk about some. Let's relive some fun times. How about that? Actually, let's start with Diamond Dallas Page, which is, I guess, fun news. It's good news. I don't know. So Diamond Dallas Page is going to receive stem cell therapy. Apparently, they're gonna put him in his neck, in his back, his shoulders, and his knees.
Okay.
Because I guess they are McFucked after all the wrestling that he has done.
Makes sense.
He seems really excited about it, and I'm really excited for him because that's good news. Yeah.
Yeah. Good news that he's getting getting help for his worn out body, and also to get another sight into stem cell research, stem cell application.
And also, it's going to probably give him a new lease on life, if you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So now that we've done that, let's talk about some fun things. Let's relive some good times.
You want to just talk about AEW. Double or Nothing real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So Double or Nothing happened last night. It was a fucking amazing pay-per-view. If you have not watched it, I encourage you to watch it. It was really good. It's like so funny to me that I did the math last night. To watch all AEW pay-per-views versus to watch all WWE pay-per-views, it's about $80 more a year. It's fucking worth it.
Although it was a long-ass show.
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm paying $50, I better be getting $50. You know? I was entertained the whole time.
Well.
I got a little burnt out, but...
Well. Cody and a go-go.
Okay, listen. I was entertained the whole time.
That vertebraker was pretty sweet. I'll give Cody that.
Remember when he threw his pants into the crowd?
And his shirt. So he walked off with no clothes.
That happened on Friday if you didn't see that.
Apparently he came out. And he came out with like a smile on his face. Realized that like there weren't that many cheers for him, and he was kind of getting booed too. And
Cody? I thought he was getting a huge pop.
It was like it was a mix, but his smile quickly dropped.
Love it. Love to see it. It's some stuff that we found out last night. AEW signed Mark Henry, which means all of the people that Randy Orton have bullied have officially left WWE and gone to AEW, except for Edge.
And Ric Flair.
Well, that'll never happen.
And didn't he also bully Triple H? Shawn Michaels too. Shawn Michaels.
Triple H, he did not bully per se. He just kind of got bullied by. He got bullied in return.
My God, remember that match that they had where Triple H Triple H had the fucking sledgehammer and it was lit on fire.
Remember when Triple H stood in that fucking ring and said, "If you want to fight me, fight me." And I said,
Bring us back to that, Randy.
in addition to signing Mark Henry, Lio Rush debuted for AEW. He's signed to NJPW, but he's going to be wrestling between brands, I believe.
He's also been largely appearing in MLW and I believe AAA. He has a separate character in AAA. I think it's called Spider-Man.
Good for him.
Yeah.
In addition to that, they also fired Spanish commentator Willie Urbina because Willie Urbina and a lesser known note, Thunder Rosa, Willie Urbina was making fun of Hikaru Shida's accent in a blatantly racist way, and Thunder Rosa was just like, "Oh, stop it." So, they fired Willie. Thunder Rosa has not said anything, but
I mean, I couldn't understand what she said, and I speak Spanish.
Somebody who speaks Spanish. I did not figure that out on my own.
But going back to Lio Rush for a second, apparently he you already mentioned he's not signed with AEW, but he would have arrived sooner had it not been for his appearance on The Challenge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess. But Willie Urbina's gone. I have no clue who they replaced him with. They fired him. And then in addition to that, they also announced their next pay-per-views, or rather the pay-per-views they're going to have for the rest of the year. Which includes, first things first, All Out has been announced for September. September 5th, specifically. And
2 days after my birthday.
Those days. September 5th, and it will be in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, September 5th. If you want to see Full Gear, that's in November 6th, in St. Louis at the Chaifetz Arena? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Kayla.
So
that all Out is going to sell out like crazy. AEW's first pay-per-view on tour. That is going to be fucking bonkers.
It's so funny to me because, like, I feel like, you know, like right now I feel like, oh my god, I can't believe the next WWE pay-per-view is so far away. But in the same vein, I'm like, I have to wait until September for the next AEW pay-per-view.
Because monthly pay-per-views are much worse than quarterly pay-per-views.
What?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. All right, let's get into some WWE news, I guess. So, speaking of people being released, the WWE released apparently a widely respected member of talent, or not talent, but what's the word? Employee. An employee. They released an employee. They released. Let me try that again. They released Giancarlo Giacomo. He's the director of a number of WWE documentaries. One being Live Forever. Apparently, like, everyone loved him, so it was really sad to see him go. And apparently, dozens upon dozens were cut last Tuesday, which is just. I too like steering a massive cruise liner out to sea and then dumping half the crew.
I mean, let's be honest. It used to happen after every WrestleMania, and then it stopped happening. I think 2 WrestleManias ago or last WrestleMania. That's why this one has been such a shock. It's because everyone thought that WWE was past it. It's kind of wiping the slate clean, starting fresh, cleaning out house, and like getting a whole new vibe for the new year. which includes new creative crew and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a shame because apparently like a lot of people saw him as like a mastermind of his craft.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like it wasn't necessary, or maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to do to cut him, but whatever.
Yeah.
In addition to that, it looks like WrestleMania will be 2 nights going forward.
Is that confirmed?
No, there's still a question mark at the end of this headline, but you told me more about this than I know if you want to talk to it.
Yeah, it's just that talent in WWE, so the wrestlers and the other various talent, has been very vocal about wanting 2-night WrestleManias because it gets rid of that exhaustion from the audience, which I think we can all say is a positive. I don't think there's anyone out there who's like, oh no, I hate those 2-day WrestleManias. But I mean, this last WrestleMania was just pure proof that it made it so much better.
It was tiring, but it felt like a full like event.
Yeah. And like what happened night 2 like didn't bog down night 1 at all. They still felt separate. Like Bianca had her amazing moment. And then we had like the downturn that was night 2 of like Roman winning and all that. I thought it was like so much better than all the other past WrestleManias.
Finally, last thing. WWE has filed for new trademarks. And they are for 2 names that I do not recognize. One is Carmelo Hayes, and the other is Trey Baxter. Apparently it's looking like these could be future ring names for Performance Center recruits. And a lot of AEW Dark alumni were at tryouts recently, so it could be getting a whole new wave of recruits, which is just funny to me because like NXT is going to get more people. And they're going to be amazing. And then the talent flow stops there.
Yeah.
Maybe Eva will come back and everyone will be like, oh my god, she's amazing. I have hopes. I have a prayer.
I'm glad you're hopeful. I have very low expectations.
I'm just here to support women.
I am too, but there's
Eva would support me too, Mark. You know that.
I'm also
You said so.
I'm also for supporting young women talent. Newer talent. You're wondering how old Eva Marie is? No, while you do that, how old is she?
Kind of got Finn Balor syndrome.
In her 40s or something?
36.
36? Okay.
She just looks really young. I guess I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh my god, she looks amazing for her age. And then it's like, well, yeah, but people who are 30 also do look good sometimes.
Well, that's all. I was also expecting that age. I thought she'd be in like her mid-30s.
I thought she was younger than that.
Alright, so you want to move into the episode?
I guess.
We'll make something fun of it. Keep up the enthusiasm. So it seems like this was a super exciting episode.
I won't yawn as much as I've been yawning. How's that?
I probably will yawn just because it's very hard to breathe right now.
It is. It seems like whenever I sit down to do this, like I could be doing fine all day and then I sit down to do this and I'm like, It's the anxiety.
So, to start off this amazing episode, this one-of-a-kind episode, super unique episode, where the excitement's all over the board. We start off with the best segment in all of WWE, Miz TV. We come out to the ring, and the hilarious John Morrison is wearing garlic around his neck just because he is so hilarious. And he said that he's preparing for anyone or anything that will attack The Miz. And he also brought his drip stick, which is a water gun. So funny, hilarious bit. I was dying laughing. And Miz is there, because he didn't die. Super exciting plot twist that got a ton of explanation. They bring out Charlotte Flair. She said she of course had to remind us that she is a 14-time women's champion, and that she had Reyes had a good little story, but real life is not a fairy tale. Dreams turn to nightmares, and I'll be sending Rhea to hell. Great line. Amazing line. She's so good at delivering promos. She actually is. She actually is great at delivering promos, but her gimmick kind of isn't getting across so much. In this feud, at least. Rhea Ripley then comes out. She says, "You can go to hell." Wasn't that such a clever quip? I laughed. After that, let's see. Miz said, "This is Rhea's first time on Miz TV, so let's just chit-chat." He tries to turn it into an actual talk show, something that Miz TV should have been in the first place. Like, you know, trying to actually ask questions and get to the bottom of things. Rhea asked about John Morrison's hilarious garlic. His hilarious garlic. Amazing bit, just to remind you all. And he said, "It's to ward off vampires. You could be a vampire." Isn't that funny? And Rhea said, "I'm not a vampire. I'm a nightmare." I'm turning down my mic. I feel like I'm very loud. All right.
Not loud to me.
Yeah, I just see the meter on Streamlabs. I'm just so enthusiastic about how amazing this episode was. Oh god, she said she's a nightmare to the women's division. Charlotte then says you couldn't even beat Nikki Cross last week. And Miz or Morrison, I forget which hilarious person said this. A champion should be able to beat all challengers. And then Nikki Cross comes out. She says, "Sorry for interrupting. Last week I beat the Raw Women's Champion." I mean, technically. She said, it would be fair if I was the first to challenge the winner of the Hell in what the fuck did I write? Challenge the winner of Hell in a Cell. Okay. So she wants to beat the winner. Understandable. In my opinion, she should be fighting her at Hell in a Cell, because that would make sense. I mean, this is amazing writing. Who could have come up with this? And Charlotte says, "If life was fair, I'd be the Raw Women's Champion." Rhea said, "If there were 4 minutes on the clock instead of 2, you wouldn't be standing here. But you earn my respect." What a fucking babyface thing to say. Rhea's such a great face.
They're turning her.
And then
it's clunky, but they're turning her.
After she said that, Nikki was like, "Hell yeah, you respect me." It's like, what? That's all you got from that?
Her soul.
Nikki then says, "I could beat you in 2 minutes, Charlotte. Then, would it be fair if I challenged the winner?" Charlotte said, "I could beat Nikki Cross in 1 minute. You're on, you little troll."
I wanted to say something else.
Hilarious writing. Allegedly.
I think she almost called her a bitch.
I think she wanted to say the C word. I just want to imagine.
Honestly.
Oh, and then we have Nikki Cross versus Charlotte Flair in a beat the clock challenge.
Yeah, and would you guess it?
This one was much lamer than the last one.
Yeah, this was not nearly as good and made a horrible fucking argument for. So because we have been around members of family this past weekend, I just swore my brain was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, so Nikki rolls out and Charlotte follows her. So Nikki rolls back in. And then she's real sneaky, avoiding Charlotte at literally all costs. There's a knee in the midsection of Cross. Cross then gets clotheslined backwards, gets placed up top. She fights Charlotte with fists to the head. We get a tornado DDT and a failed dropkick to Flair, but it was a failed dropkick that nobody commented on, so it just felt weird.
Mm-hmm.
Then Flair goes for the sharpshooter, but yikes-a-roni, clock runs out.
Can I just quickly say, this was stupid. Because Nikki Cross is, on the sidelines, haha, you can't get me. You can't get me. Because she's an amazing tactician.
Don't be mean to Nikki Cross.
I'm being mean to the writing and the booking and the shittiness. And she's like, haha, you can't get me. And Charlotte's like, oh, get over here. Even though the ref's counting down, so it's you could just wait the 10 seconds and then win. If we're winning by technicalities here, just wait for the ref's timer. Otherwise, Nikki can just get in the ring and then you can beat her up there.
It reminded me of any time that I had to corral an animal.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, get back over here, get back over here. And the animal just didn't come, and it's after a certain point, you just kind of say, all right, well, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This was a human.
And the most boggling thing is, nobody gets over in this match. Nobody looked good. Charlotte looked like a fucking moron. Nikki just looked like a coward. Who wins here? Who wins? This is dumb.
It didn't make a good argument either for Nikki to have to fight Charlotte at any point.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Oh, we never mentioned there's a new commentator taking over for Adnan. Huh? Jimmy Smith. He is actually really good.
And he can say sommelier correctly.
Sommelier. Isn't that what he said?
He.
How do you pronounce it?
Sommelier. But he got a little bit of a French in between the M and the E.
Yeah, he comes from a UFC background, so he's already got that fighting commentary down. And he's
done NXT before.
Okay. He's a great enthusiasm. So
yeah, he shined on his first evening.
Mm-hmm. After that, we got to see Damien Priest for the only time we got to see him at all tonight. He's with Riddle, and they had an amazingly hilarious conversation. Riddle wants to learn some Spanish since they're traveling and touring. Did you know they're touring? Or did you not get it from the 20,000 times they said it in this episode? Because I'm really excited that they're touring again.
I love that they're we're touring again. We've got 3 dates, and they're in one state.
All of the promos say oh, we're touring again, we're traveling, and then they still decide to throw in commercials saying they're touring. Here are our locations. It's do one or the other, please.
They're real nervous. They're real nervous that people aren't going to come, and I can tell. Because how many times we watch every AEW show. How many times during the AEW shows, which are also returning to touring soon, have we gotten 41 promos and 41 commercials that are like, "Hey, we're touring soon."
They don't say it in the promos at all.
We got last night. We got the all out thing. Kind of said like we're back on the road, and we're back where like basically this all started.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, that's it.
I think the most that happened was it came up in lower thirds, which is how it should be, because you don't want to be throwing that shit in. Wait, Kayla, they're touring? What the fuck?
Did you not know?
Anyway. So Riddle's asking him all these phrases to say in Spanish. They were just so funny that I can't remember them. But one of them was, "Can you teach me how to say, 'Hey, Randy?'" And Damien Priest says, "Hey, Randy." And Riddle's like, "Oh, so that's it." And then Randy's standing right there.
This part did get a little chuckle out of me, I'm going to be honest.
It was mostly Damien's reaction.
Damien's face, that's it.
It's because Damien's a good performer.
Damien's face just fell.
That's why they don't have him on TV, because he's too good.
Yeah. They gotta save him for when they're touring, Mark.
Wait, they're touring? So I think Damien Priest leaves, and then Randy looks at Riddle and just says, "You used my finisher." Which for those who don't know, Riddle RKO'd somebody last week. RKO'd Xavier.
Yeah.
Riddle's like, "I know, I should have asked first." And Randy said, "You and Woods had one hell of a match. You do need to work on a few things. Watch my match at ringside and you'll learn a thing or two." Randy is very good at just like talking normally. He's very good at just being natural in promos. You notice that?
Happy first day of Pride Month.
Woo!
Gonna get real gay up in here.
Not if you're on the West Coast or anywhere but the East Coast.
Well, if you're on the West Coast, I'm sorry, but I don't mean to spoil it for you, but Pride Month begins.
God damn it!
All right,
You
spoiler alert.
it. All right, so that promo finishes, and then we have Xavier Woods versus Randy Orton. A fucking great match.
You like how shiny my hand is? I just put some cocoa butter on it.
Yeah. Xavier Woods has been putting on banger after banger in these matches. Like, my God.
Yeah, but you know what's not a banger? Randall Keith Orton's fucking facial hair.
Oh my God, yeah. His facial hair looked bad. He's got like the goatee, but it's not like connected. It's like the mustache, a little beard, and then the soul patch.
I've made this joke several times now to multiple different people, but he looks like a fucking conquistador, and there's no way to change my opinion of that.
He looks exactly like Chuck Liddell.
It's not a good look. It's a really bad look.
Yeah.
So congrats, Randy. I'm glad you did that. So we get an arm drag to Randy. Xavier gets slammed back and forth into the announce desk before being dropped backwards into the desk itself. There's a headlock on Xavier after the commercial break and a step-up insecurity to Randy, as well as a big chop. There's lots of shots to the head of Randall, who finally shuts things down with a knee to the midsection of Xavier. There's an elbow to the face of Randy, and then like a sliding DDT, I suppose. I didn't know how else to describe it. That's to Randall. There's a big fucking powerbomb to Xavier from Randy, and then double knees to the arm and a transition right into a Fujiwara armbar from Xavier to Randy. Randall then manages to grab the rope before Xavier can grab him out. We end up getting just a stunner of a Draper DDT.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Randy had a little bit of time to make a weird fucking face.
Yeah. And the thing is with his weird faces, it always makes sense, whether it's like slight or not. Like this one made sense because he was like, he failed it the first time, so he's trying to rush and get it in. So he's like, all right.
I just like the before he went down. And then after the Draper DDT, Randy goes into weird Randy mode where he pounds the mat, and then the first time he pounds the mat, he just grabs his shoulder like. It was like, favorite. Randy, it's like you're gonna hurt yourself.
It's like Drew doing a kip up after he gets some knee damage or something. It's like you just did that yourself. I know,
Randy's like, I just can't help it. It's in my blood. Voices in my head told me to.
My finisher won't work if I don't do it.
So he goes for the RKO, but he goes down into a backslide instead when Xavier counters. But Randall manages to get up, and God bless, Randall Keith Orton does the Bro Derek to win.
Actually, it was well executed. But definitely looks like he was just going for a pile driver at first, which I was like, fuck yeah. Bring it back, Randy.
The only person who's legally allowed to is Randall.
Yeah. So after that, we would then go backstage and see MVP, Bobby Lashley, and all of Bobby's entourage of women. It's always different women. This time it was a different group.
Listen, it's diverse, it's consistent. I don't like it, but you gotta give it credit for at least that much.
Yeah. I mean, it also makes being the champion look like something you would want, you know?
Yeah.
And nothing really happens. Bobby just kisses his belt, and then we move on. We then have Reginald and Nia Jax and Gorilla before Reginald's match against Shayna Basler. Reginald says he doesn't need Nia's help against Shayna. Watch the match from here so you can see for yourself. And yes, Miriam, the bar is super low for Raw tonight. It really is. So we then have Shayna Basler versus Reginald in a match that actually was kind of a banger until the finish. Because in no way should Reginald ever pin Shayna Basler.
So I don't even know where to start with the ending because it's confusing to me, but we'll just...
Well, the thing is you shouldn't start with the ending. Am I wrong?
No. I'm gonna like Kool-Aid Man through your wall in a couple seconds. So Reggie dodges Shayna multiple times before rolling her up. He actually like touches Shayna, and that was incredible. Shayna, however, twists Reggie's arms. It's a shoulder tackle onto Reginald. Then Reginald body slams Shayna.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Michinoku driver, but not really.
Which made me feel like Shayna probably was like, "You're gonna get some moves in. I'm not playing one of those games."
Yeah, just hit me. Stop being an idiot.
Stop being a wuss.
Yeah.
Shayna then shoulder tackles Reggie, DDTs his leg, then begins twisting that leg into several different directions, and like just destroys his knee, his ankle, gets an ankle lock on Reginald, who manages to send Shayna into the buckles by launching her via his leg. There's a spinning crossbody out onto Shayna. He goes to do the over the moonsault onto Shayna, but Shayna moves out of the way. Reggie lands on his feet, thus twerking his ankle a little bit. Shayna gets the Kirifuda clutch tied in. And then one of those fire cannons explodes ringside and distracts Shayna. Reggie ends up rolling her up. So here's my question, right? Here's my question. The fire cannons have been mostly used to distract and injure Reginald. So why are these now being used to distract Shayna? When did Alexa Bliss decide, you know what, that's actually not who I'm going after?
It's amazing writing, Liz. It's for high IQ'd people. You wouldn't understand.
Got a 1910 on my SATs. Come on.
And that's not a 2400. See, only people who get 2400s on their SATs would understand the high tier writing that WWE Monday Night Raw is cranking out here.
Is that why Raw sucks? Are we just not smart enough?
We're not smart enough.
One biggest fear. I just feel like the writers were suddenly like, oh shit, she shouldn't be targeting Reggie. She can't fight Reggie. We can't make a feud out of that. Then they were like, well, fuck, we'll just make it Shayna.
I mean, it's probably gonna be like Alexa wants to recruit Reginald or Shayna or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is so good. I mean, where could this possibly go? The mysteries are endless.
Yeah, bring that energy back, Mark.
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry if that clap was really loud.
I could hear it through the wall.
Good. That means my energy's high. Do you mention the pin yet? Mention the fire. Oh, okay.
Oh, the fire and then the pin happened.
Yeah, the pin should not have happened. Shayna, who was a fucking monster at Elimination Chamber. Not this past Elimination Chamber, but the last Elimination
Remember when Shayna hurled somebody into the stage side of the chamber in Elimination Chamber? I think it was Liv.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there and I was like, this woman's gonna kill somebody, okay.
And now look what she's doing. She's taking a pin from a non-wrestler.
I'm sorry. Reginald trained with Tim Tam Thatcher, arms and muscles ready for the matching match.
He's a sommelier. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you and interrupt you. It was all for the joke.
I also did not intend to drink 2 White Claws tonight. I realized I opened one last night and I never finished it, so. It's not whatnot. White Claw.
You want to talk about White Claw instead of Raw? I'd probably take us about as long.
Watermelon ones suck.
Alright, that ends that conversation. So we had an interview with Drew McIntyre. He's asked about Kofi. He said he respects Kofi. He's earned everything. If I didn't interfere in the match against Bobby, Kofi would have won. He's former champion. Former world champion. I am just like Kofi. It's such low-hanging fruit. You remember those Black History Month commercials that WWE did? Drew McIntyre talking in them. He's just like Kofi.
Drew just showed up in those and we were both like, who are you?
Oh, fuck.
There's levels to this where it's like, Drew, no offense, the reason you had to wait and the reason Kofi had to wait are probably 2 different reasons. But it's just, on a base level, this fucking promo, I was like, I tuned out for half of it and then I heard that and I was like, what?
But his actual continuation of "I am just like Kofi" is he put everyone's own wants and needs over his own. But Drew was able to break out of that, I guess. One day I will have a little Drew and tell him stories of myself. When he slayed the dragon, the beast Brock Lesnar. Tonight I'm willing to do everything Kofi isn't. I'm more than ready.
Drew also mentioned at one point, he was like, the whole reason he mentioned himself having a baby Drew one day was because he was like, you know, Kofi fights for his family because he's got a family and stuff like that. And I was like, You technically do too. You have a wife. He's not just fighting for his kids, I don't think.
This was a very heel promo. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Saying that he's putting his needs over everyone else's. He's willing to do everything Kofi isn't. Like, this reads heel. You would think that because they made Kofi look like such a babyface in this, bigger babyface than Drew, which never thought I'd say that, that Kofi would easily be the one to win it. But no. They made it the heel. They made the heel win this and face Bobby at Hell in a Cell. Didn't think they'd ever do that. And he's probably gonna win. Alright, so after that, we then had a surprising little match. Mace and T-Bar versus Lucha House Party.
Let me just start by saying Mace and T-Bar are my two favorite men. Lince Dorado's down at the bottom of that list now.
Why?
He hasn't taken his mask off. I just want to know if he's hot underneath it.
He did take it off and post a picture on Instagram, but he used one of those Snapchat selfies that makes it so your head is like an alien face or whatever. So he's wearing a digital mask.
Just want to know if he's attractive.
You can think he's attractive even with a mask on. That's up for interpretation.
He's actually really attractive with the mask on. I'm going to be real with you. Anyways. Let's start with Lince Dorado versus T-Bar. There's a big clothesline to Lince and a big back elbow to the face of Lince. Dorado then gets a sleeper on Teebs. Teebs dumps Lince, gets dropkicked, and Grand Metalik gets in. He goes off the shoulders of Lince onto Mr. T-Bar. Grand Metalik wants a suplex, but T-Bar just grabs Mace, brings him in. We get a leg lariat to the neck of Grand Metalik from Mace and a body clothesline from T-Bar at the same time. It was, as I think Corey said, a high and low. And I said, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Made sense. There's a big suplex and a drop elbow from Mace to Grand Metalik. That suplex looked so fucking painful. Like, so intense. Like, it looked like Mace got air on it himself.
Yeah, he like, jumped, too.
Yeah. It's like, you don't need to do that. You're already tall enough. T-Bar gets back in, sends a big boot to the face of Grand Metalik, gets Mace back in, who stomps Grand Metalik, who gets T-Bar back in. Then T-Bar and T-Bar and Mace line up some offense, and Lince comes out of nowhere, drop kicks both of them. Lince then dives out onto Mace and into his arms, gets suplexed. Grand Metalik goes off the ropes into a boot from T-Bar. Mace gets in. We get a team choke slam to Grand Metalik to win. What I noticed, by the way? I don't know if you noticed this. In a lot of the tag matches, they had like weird interference that normally I don't feel like would have happened. Like Lince coming in and interfering out of nowhere for no discernible reason, I guess. I don't know. I noticed it. I also haven't. It's not true. I say I haven't watched wrestling since NXT. That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah, you watched it yesterday.
And the day before that.
Yep.
Right now, did I?
Yeah, we watched Dynamite.
Oh, we watched that.
Oh no, we watched that on Sunday.
We watched that yesterday.
I don't think you
Well,
watched
one day
wrestling
without
on
wrestling.
Saturday. Saturday probably. Friday too. You didn't watch it on Friday.
There we go.
All right. So
practice.
After that, we then had Sheamus in the ring, who was made a fucking babyface today. Let's be honest. He said he can't wait to tour against. They're fucking touring. Wait a goddamn minute. I had no idea they were touring.
You gonna get your tickets?
I'll go buy mine right now. So he can't wait to tour again so that he can dominate all over. he's gonna go buy some participation trophies for Ricochet and Humberto. And he asks, do they look like championship material to you? Two fellas jumping one lad? The open challenge was designed so he could find someone worthy enough to challenge for the title, which makes sense. He's speaking very logically, something a face does. They're not fine enough to lace my boots. I will take them on one-on-one, back-to-back. I'll send them back to catering. Which one is brave enough to step up first? He's like, Sheamus is not the heel here. He's not. Even in this match, he gave them both a fair shot, one-on-one, back-to-back, which is a tough feat for Sheamus. Like that, I will commend that writing on Sheamus's part. That was a very like commendable thing to do. And then Ricochet still decided to come out. Oh no, Humberto still decided to come out for Ricochet's match, which we'll get to in a second. Which that is a heel thing. Humberto has his opportunity later. Sheamus is just getting ganged up on by two guys. He's not the heel. he's suffering right now. He's definitely the face. I definitely empathize with Sheamus more than Ricochet and Humberto right now.
Yeah,
I feel like Raw right now is... You notice, Raw right now is going through a moment where they don't understand faces and heels. Because you got Sheamus...
wrestling.
Sheamus is a face... Or Sheamus is, I guess, a heel acting like a face. Or he's a face, but they think he's a heel. Drew is a heel, but they think he's a face. Rhea is a chicken shit heel that they think is a face. Trying to think if there are any others. I think that's it.
Charlotte's a heel. That's a heel.
Yeah, Charlotte's a heel, but they got that right. I guess Ricochet and Humberto, both heels who they think are faces. I thought there was one more. Cedric and Shelton, they nailed them. John Morrison's a face. John Morrison's definitely a face.
Yeah.
He's not at all heel right now. Alright. So Ricochet then comes out. He's the first one up against Sheamus. And so we get Sheamus versus Ricochet.
God, this is a consistent nightmare. So there was a kick under the jaw to Sheamus. He loads Sheamus out of the ring and goes to slide out onto him, but Sheamus catches him. Spotty suplexes him into the barricade, and then we get a clothesline to Ricochet off the top rope. And Humberto comes out, and when Humberto comes out, Ricochet rolls Sheamus up to win. And then go right into Sheamus versus Humberto. Where there's a knee to the midsection, a big clothesline to Humberto, and then a boot to the face of Sheamus, but Sheamus just kind of fucking dumps him. He has Humberto held against the ropes, but Humberto fights back, doesn't allow Sheamus to get the 10 beats positioning locked in, I guess. He sends Sheamus neck first into the ropes. Once we get back in the ring fully, there's an Irish Curse backbreaker to Humberto, and then he just kind of starts kicking him. We sort of get the 10 beats, but it's Humberto's on his knees, and it's not the same. After that, we get a chinlock on Carrillo, and then there's a jawbreaker to Sheamus. Sheamus runs at Carrillo, and Carrillo dodges. We get a back heel kick that rocks Sheamus, and then a drop kick. And then Sheamus's nose is fucking broken because Humberto sent. I missed this in my notes, but Humberto sent a forearm right into like the fucking bridge of his nose.
Mm-hmm. Elbow. It was legit just the elbow.
Yes, and Sheamus is bleeding everywhere.
He's red, but not from slaps.
Once. There's a clothesline on Humberto over the ropes. Sheamus goes down to ringside. He kicks Ricochet, who's still at ringside, yells at him until Humberto dives out onto him. Get back in the ring. There's a big spinebuster to Humberto, and then Ricochet gets caught by Sheamus for some reason. I don't know why Sheamus was even going after Ricochet at this point.
I don't know why Ricochet was trying to get in the ring.
Yeah. It was almost like he was like pulling Ricochet into the ring. And I was like, but Carrillo gets a big kick to Sheamus, rolls him up to win, and that's your match. That's your match.
Nothing like having a champion lose twice to make him look a lot better. Right?
I mean, at this point, who can't beat Sheamus?
Mansoor?
Mansoor has bigger issues right now.
Riddle can't beat Sheamus.
Okay, there you go. That's fair.
Alright, so after that, we then had another Eva Marie promo. We only got one today. We only got one Eva Marie promo. Unlike the normal
because we didn't do a repeat promo like they always do every week.
I haven't been very enthusiastic. This was great. This was amazing. Eva Marie, I'm so excited for her to come. Can't wait. She's gonna wrestle.
She's gonna take the WWE by storm.
And she said on Twitter, she said, oh, you know what, let me get her exact tweet so I don't butcher her exact words. But I thought it was fucking hilarious what she said. Eva Marie. She said, for the clowns who said I'm not coming back to wrestle. And then she posted the new vignette. Why is it so out there to think that you would be coming back to be a manager? Nothing about your original promos said you were wrestling. They were fucking shampoo commercials.
Like, also, like, the thing is, it's like they were trying to show her as like this like tough woman, and I'm like, but this is all filmed. Like, you just got the best shots. I don't trust you yet. We have to be supportive and uplifting because she's supportive and uplifting.
Oh.
Mark, she's influencing the women's roster.
Oh, you're right. Do you... I'm sure all of them feel so influenced and uplifted right now.
What was it that she said? She's like, I'm not just here to advocate for myself. I'm here to advocate for the whole women's roster or something. And I was like, I don't think they asked you to.
You're gonna advocate for Alexa Bliss and Lily?
Across the board, she's not a face or a heel. She's just there for everyone.
I
want to be excited.
The only fucking wrestling or fighting clips that they threw in, not even from her time in NXT. They're like scripted, fucking choreographed bits.
It's like we've completely forgotten that she's already been here.
Like, just show us her show us her wrestling. Like, my god. Give us something to care about, not fucking soap commercials. Anyway, also, after I said choreography, I was reminded of a little tidbit from last night's Dynamite.
I know exactly what you're going to say, but go on.
The Stadium Stampede. It was choreographed by the John Wick fight choreographer.
Is this a good time to discuss Shawn Spears and his burlesque dance?
Oh my god, that was so good. I fucking loved that. The fucking chair final boss. Marion said... Oh, sorry, continue. I'll read it after.
I was just going to say that he's a goddamn psycho, and I love him.
He's amazing. Miriam said, wrestling on Monday Night Raw? Come on now, that's a reach. You'd be surprised. Were there any matches that lasted longer than 5 minutes today? Definitely the main event.
Definitely not Shelton versus Cedric.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Randy and Xavier.
Maybe.
I don't even think the tag title match lasted longer than 5 minutes.
God, it didn't need to.
Yeah.
It ended at a very specific point for me.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I'm actually gonna get the times for these matches so that we can actually find out what if anything was longer.
Smart. I thought it was smart to stack my White Claw cans on top of each other until I realized that they were blocking the light from my face.
Here, wait, I gotta look it up on my computer. Hold on. This will take 2 seconds. I'm
not hearing enough enthusiasm.
What?
Not hearing enough enthusiasm.
Liz, did you know that they're fucking touring? Alright, so
I'm really excited for them to tour.
The times aren't up yet, so
okay.
But I can almost guarantee none lasted. No more than 2 lasted longer than 5 minutes. Alright, so
we didn't need them to. They were great in the lengths that they were at.
Doesn't Raw have such good writing? Just speaking of great writing and great booking, you want to talk about Naomi and Lana versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose?
I literally don't, actually.
I literally did not pay attention to this match one bit. Paid attention for like the first 5 seconds and that was it.
I figured out what was going to happen pretty early on and I was like, oh. And I stopped paying attention. I'm the one that takes the notes, so.
Mandy and Dana had better gear today.
Yeah.
They have the new walkout song, which nobody acknowledged.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's completely on brand for Mandy and Dana. As horrible as that sounds.
But, like, what is there's no substance. There's no substance.
And yet, seems like they're getting more of a push than Naomi and Lana.
Okay, so I figured it out, and I'll discuss it at the end. I have some sort of hope here, okay? But we start with Lana versus Dana. There's an arm drag roll-up type thingamajigger to Dana, and Naomi gets in, hits a leg drop onto Dana. Lana gets back in. There's a bulldog to Dana. Naomi gets back in. There's a back elbow to Dana and a wheelbarrow slam to Naomi. Mandy gets in. There's a team facebuster to Naomi. Mandy tries to lift Naomi, slams her sideways. Naomi gets an elbow to Mandy and an elbow to Dana, and then, like, a fireman's facebuster or something. I don't know. Lana then gets in. A boot to the midsection of Dana and a spiral crossbody out from Naomi. Alright. Dana tries to interfere. Naomi hits her with a boot to the midsection, hits a spiral crossbody off the apron onto her. Then there's a knee strike to Naomi from Mandy, and a double leg sweep and a jackknife cover to Mandy from Lana. Then there's a boot to the face of Mandy, and at this point, Dana Brooke fucking yells at Lana, "Leave her alone!"
Is this not a wrestling match?
Oh my god. It's like, I would understand if maybe it was Naomi, because Naomi wasn't legal, but, like, what do you think is gonna happen here?
Or it feels like Keith Lee in the ring fucking up Mandy.
Yeah. Okay, Dana gets in off that. We get a tandem offense to Lana for them to win. I figured it out, though. I connected the dots, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Connected the fucking dots, and the dots say it makes sense because the first challengers aren't going to get this fucking title. So it would have been worse if Lana and Naomi had won. And this is just an example of amazing writing on Raw.
But did you know they're touring?
You know that song by Linkin Park? In the end.
Oh, yeah.
It's playing in my head.
All right. Okay. That's cool.
Because I tried so hard and I got so far.
But in the end, WWE's touring again.
Oh no. What are we gonna do tomorrow when there's actually substance to talk about?
Get excited about the substance and not try and make jokes.
Right.
I'm too busy trying to see what the fuck. Remember Fred on YouTube?
Ew, yeah, what?
I'm wondering what he's up to.
I don't think he's up to. I think he's like a producer now or something.
His YouTube channel was turned to shit. Hasn't posted in 5 years. And starting 10 years ago, his YouTube channel was just for random kids. And a kids series. Anyway, I don't like talking about Fred. Let's talk about something else I don't like talking about. Monday Night Raw. So, Liz, what happened in the rest of this match? I'm genuinely curious, because I didn't watch it.
No, you didn't, because I just told you how it ended. I finished the match.
I somehow don't believe you.
I did.
Well, you ready to talk again? Because Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander's up next.
Lucas Cruikshank, who was Fred, put out a single in 2020 called Shargay Evans.
Who?
Fred.
I heard he also put out something else. Like a song or something called WWE's Touring Again. Sorry, I'll stop. Anyway, Shelton versus Cedric.
Was there nothing in between that?
No, there's nothing in between that.
Oh.
Not even a promo from Cedric. That's how little they cared about this.
Interesting. So there's a boot to the face of Cedric right off the bat, and then a thumb to the eye of Shelton, and a neuralizer win. Moving on.
You know, I thought we would get something like a little prolonged, and then like either it would end the feud or Cedric or Shelton would go, you know, we're taking this to Hell in a Cell.
To be fair, I still love Cedric coming out and screaming at the top of his lungs for absolutely no reason.
He doesn't need a mic.
He doesn't. And I respect him for that. I mean, I'm sure his throat fucking hurts.
Also, Miriam found the perfect way to tie Fred to wrestling. Apparently, John Cena was Fred's dad in the movies that Fred did, apparently.
Jonathan, what?
So we can make this the Fred podcast.
Oh.
No?
Oh, we make it the John Cena podcast.
No.
Okay.
Our Chinese investors won't allow that.
Oh, yeah. Oof. You know what?
What?
Doesn't matter. You know why?
Because in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's fair. I wasn't going for that, but I'll take it.
Okay. So after that, we then had, I know you avoid talking about him, but I think today is the day where we can.
I'm not talking about him still, but I'll allow you to.
Okay. So we had Elias and Jackson Riker backstage. Elias is going on saying we have a huge opportunity. We got to come up with a game plan. He's like, "Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?" Riker's just standing there like. Elias says, "Have you ever been in battle?" And Riker instantly, "I've been to Iraq." Okay. That's good for you.
There's nothing better than this promo being written this way because, like, we've just got this crazy ass war veteran who zones out completely and only checks back in to remind somebody that he was at war.
And then right after that, we got like a Memorial Day video package, I think.
Did we?
We got a video package at some point for Memorial Day.
I think that was in the beginning.
I know we got one in the beginning. I wasn't sure if we got one at this point or not, but...
I think this was the Memorial Day video package.
So then we had... Oh, I want to talk more about it once we get there, but first we have an interview with Kofi. Kevin asks him if he wants to talk about what Drew said, and Kofi says, I want to talk about what he didn't say. His connection with his family and friends, according to Drew, was a detriment. I respect Drew. I respect all the sacrifices he's made. But what I can't respect is that cheap shot. What he said was he could slay the beast Brock Lesnar, while I couldn't. Let's not forget what happened 2 weeks ago. This is my cheap shot. I did what Drew couldn't in all his opportunities. I beat Bobby Lashley regardless of how it happened. I will beat Drew McIntyre tonight. Then I will beat Bob Lashley again at Hell in a Cell. This made Kofi a massive babyface more so than Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Kofi basically saying that he didn't, like, he always put his everyone else's needs and wants over his own. Like, he's been selfless. He's a good man. I don't get it. What are they trying to do? But speaking of what are they trying to do, AJ Styles and Omos versus Elias and Jackson Riker. Now, I have a question for you.
Oh no.
Do you think this match was a response to the Cody Anthony Ogogo match? And the horrible reception that got? They're like, you're gonna put over that American dream on Memorial Day. We're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna put down a veteran. Oh. After a video package for Memorial Day starting the episode. And him also
really
reminding
kind of was
us.
worried too.
What was that?
I was worried going into this match too because I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
I know how this ends.
And they even went as far as to remind us that he fought in war. Oh. I am going to continue the headcanon that this is Vince's response to that match. They're like, we can't do the same thing.
That's, you know what? Fine.
Alright, so you want to talk about the match?
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't take any notes for that weird man that Elias was originally teamed with. Whoops.
You didn't take notes on Omos fucking crushing his head?
Nah.
Squeezing his head?
Did he do that?
He went, as soon as Omos got in the ring, he immediately went in and Elias like ran out. He grabbed his head and started crushing it. It was great.
So Elias attacks pretty quickly. He stomps Styles and then slams him into the turnbuckle. There's some chops to AJ and then a headshot. There's a boot to the face of Elias and a big snap suplex. Elias then suplexes AJ, so like fair is fair. I knew the cat was coming in here because I heard her sneeze down the hallway. Hey, what's up, bud? There's a drop knee on Styles, and then AJ takes Elias off the apron, slamming him headfirst into the apron. And then that fucking ugly ass man was in, because I didn't take any notes on that part. And he goes to tag out And Elias says, Captain? And just fucks off.
You know, okay. For 1 second, I'm going to put aside Riker's political beliefs and just focus on WWE entirely. This move for Elias could really help his career because Riker has been really putting him down and holding him back this entire time. Because alone, Riker is not a good wrestler. He's not. Elias is better than that. Elias is better than Riker, skills purely, both in the ring and on the mic. He deserves something so much better. He deserves so much more. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean, he like was kind of in a Timothy Thatcher in like a greater sense than Tim is right now. But like for me personally, seeing Tim with Tommaso makes me like, nah, Tim. But like the same thing happened with Elias, where I was like, oh, Elias. But now I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they continue this. Hopefully they give Elias a good match against Riker where Elias comes out on top. And he has a substantial solo run.
And I think he's got a good chance for it now, especially because he's kind of proven himself.
And hopefully he doesn't just go right back to the arms of Shane McMahon like he always does. That would suck. Alright, so after that, we then have Reginald and Nia Jax backstage. Before we had a little clip of Alexa saying that Reginald will be on Alexa's playground. Nia asks Reginald in this promo, "Are you sure you want to accept Alexa Bliss's invitation?" And Reginald says, "Just like my match against Shayna, as I told you then, I'll be fine." So then after that, we go to Elias backstage. Elias is like kind of running. He's like rushing. And then he's stopped by Kevin. Elias says Riker's become unhinged. He was looking out for himself. He beat AJ last week with my help. He's unpredictable. The idea of sitting in a car next to Jackson Riker makes me sick. Wait, Liz. Did you know they're touring? Because Elias mentioned it again here. It's every promo. Oh my god. Oh, fuck.
To be fair, when he said it like that, I was like, yeah, honestly, I also would not want that fate.
This time it kind of made sense to bring it up, because it's like, okay, you're using it as a reason to break up this tag team, fine. Elias then said, I don't want to be around him anymore. Completely understandable. We then had Alexa's playground with Reginald. Alexa asks him how he feels after the match. He said, aside from what Shayna did to my leg, I feel great. She then said, Lily is a question. Reginald just sits there like... Alexa then said, don't be rude, Reginald. And then she's like, oh, okay. You can't understand her because she's a fucking doll. She wants to know about your time in Cirque du Soleil. And then Shane immediately comes in, starts attacking Reginald, beats the shit out of him, and he's out. She then sits down. Alexa then says, you weren't invited to play with Lily and me. And to be honest, Lily doesn't really like you.
Have we ever considered that Lily might just be a bitch?
I mean, yeah. They should make a reality show about Lily.
In this essay.
Total Lilies. Oh, and then after this, Lily said, we're touring again. I know I said I'd stop, but it's too much.
I thought you'd stop being funny about it for a while, like after a couple. But no, it's getting funnier to me, despite what other people might think.
I'm glad I could bring joy to this Raw podcast. So, Shayna then says, "You're becoming a big problem, and you saw how I handle my problems." Shayna, if that's your example of solving your problems, that means you get rolled up and pinned by your problems. She said, "You and I need to have a chat. I'll see you next week." Shayna's gonna get fucking annihilated again next week.
So Seahawk tweeted a gif of Bobby Lashley with his ladies. And said, "I gotta win the WWE Championship." Love Seahawk.
He's great. Follow Seahawk on Twitter, everyone.
Follow Pepita too.
God, don't. Just propaganda.
Pepita's thoughts. Imagine.
Alright, so then we had Viking Raiders and Mansoor backstage. They're telling Mansoor he needs a war cry. They tell him to just roar. He lets out a ferocious roar. Surprising one. And they say, "Welcome to Raw, kid." They leave. Mustafa walks in. He says, "Be careful making friends. Everyone will stab you in the back. Don't trust anyone." Mansoor then says, "Why should I trust you?" Mustafa says, "Now you're getting it." I want to see a feud, a tag team, whatever between these two. Just give me something. They're both amazing.
I'm impressed by both of them. But at the same time, I'm just like, they're also both really attractive, so I'm happy with whatever they'll give me. I'm sure though, because like it does look really good on paper, they definitely won't do anything with them.
Yeah, they'll just be on main event for the rest of their lives until they sign with AEW. And then they'll be on Dark Elevation for the rest of their lives. Just kidding. They'll probably be main eventers on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Alright, so then we have an interview with Bobby Lashley and MVP. Kevin asks them if they're the preference who wins tonight. And MVP says, "We'd love to know who's gonna be the loser at Hell in a Cell. Let's talk about positive things though." And he brings up Kofi Mania and how he teared up. We all know that he teared up at Kofi Mania. Bobby says, "I beat Drew at WrestleMania." Then MVP says, "We would love to be at ringside watching, but Pierce made it clear we can't be there. This is way better than a 90-day suspension." You know what? They're living their lives. Everyone there seems happy. Those ladies are all probably being paid a lot. And Bobby said, "At Hell in a Cell, there's nothing either of these guys can do to end the Almighty era." So that means Drew's gonna end the Almighty era. Love the fact that Bobby's only challenger has been Drew McIntyre. Don't you love it? I mean, it was Braun too, but his only feud has been with Drew. This sucks.
This is awful.
Not to just constantly compare WWE to AEW, but you know how Miro had a feud with Lance Archer? And it's probably all we saw at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, or we probably won't get any more of that.
Because I think Lance Archer also tweeted, like, it's time to rest, recuperate, and return.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm not going to see Lance Archer for, like, a little while.
don't know, maybe. But
Dark Elevation card.
But like, that was it. That was all. Hoss match. And that was just to prove that Muir can fight big guys. Bobby Lashley. How many pay-per-views has he fought Drew now? WrestleMania. Is that Fastlane too? Is it Fastlane? No. Fastlane Drew fought Sheamus. Who did Bobby...
Yeah.
Did Bobby fight anyone at Fastlane?
His? Did Bobby get his title at Fastlane?
No, he got an Elimination Chamber. Drew wasn't champion at Fastlane. But even though they still threw him on the poster.
But I thought that... No, because Bobby got the title during a network show, didn't he?
You know, well, yeah, Miz got an Elimination Chamber, then Bobby won it on TV. Let's see. Fastlane 2021 card. Let's see, Roman and DB. Women's tag title, IC title, Drew and Sheamus, Randy and Alexa Bliss, Shane and Braun, Riddle and Mustafa, Seth and Shinsuke. Yeah, Bobby didn't have a match. So, Bobby's fought Drew at WrestleMania and Backlash and will now be Hell in a Cell. And Drew will probably win at Hell in a Cell.
Don't we deserve better?
We do. Bobby can put on a great fucking match. Bobby can put on an amazing match. I mean, Drew can too, but his promos are no longer good. Bobby, we haven't seen Bobby really fight anyone else. I would love to see a fucking singles match between Bobby and Braun for the title. That would be amazing. Bobby versus a cruiserweight. Give Bobby a match against like Ricochet. Could be a throwaway match, but still. Give Bobby a match against fucking Sheamus, Riddle, Randy, anyone. Literally, there's so many names on the roster you could give him a match against. Stop. Kofi. Give him a match against fucking Kofi. Like a real one, not one that has interference. Fuck. So many good people on the roster to give a match against. I would see him in a match against Reginald. Fuck it. A fucking Shelton. Give us a... We never... Like, we got the singles match between Bobby and Shelton and Bobby and Cedric, but... I feel like we need another one. God damn, this sucks. Bobby and AJ. Wouldn't that be an amazing match?
That would be fun.
Bobby and Elias. God, anyway, enough of my dreams being shattered. Moving on to my dreams being shattered. Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh man, what if we didn't talk about this?
Let's be honest. It was a fantastic match aside from who won. There were tons of great near falls.
Remember you said that when I go through all of these notes.
Okay.
So Drew quickly rams Kofi into the buckles. There's some chops to the chest of Kingston, and then a clubbing blow that flattens the man. Drew gets driven from the ring, and Kofi throws himself backwards onto Drew ringside. When we get back in the ring, Drew flattens Kofi with a Glasgow kiss, and then gets a stalling vertical suplex onto him. Kofi, however, manages to get the guillotine locked in on Drew, who lifts Kofi, nearly suplexes him, but Kofi fights free. There's a big elbow to the head of Drew, and then a second one. We get a snap overhead toss. Oh dear. Oh my. A snap overhead toss suplex to Kofi, and then another one. Kofi rolls Drew up with an inside cradle. This doesn't work. And there's a knee to the midsection of Kofi. An SOS, though, takes Drew down and forces General Pain Drew to report for duty. He's just laying there clutching his chest like a fucking idiot. Drew manages to roll out before Kofi can execute the bone drop. Kofi goes off the top of the ring post onto Drew McIntyre ringside. but is then caught and chucked, ass first, into the corner of the barricade. Just a full tailbone full of a corner of a barricade.
It was the LED light that stuffed his ass.
Whichever. Drew then gets him back in the into the ring, whips Kofi into the corner. There's a backbreaker to Kofi. We go up top, and Kofi slips down. Hang on, got a hiccup. Powerbombs Drew. There's a dropkick to McIntyre and a boot to Kofi's midsection. Kofi then goes off the top ropes with a dropkick. We then get like a double underhook future shock DDT to Kofi, which was actually pretty cool, and I'm not gonna lie about that.
That was a great move. That
was Drew modifying a move of his own.
There you go. Even though that's technically not a move of his own, because I think he stole that from Rude.
No, because Rude's is the glorious DDT.
Which is still a future shock DDT.
A DDT is a DDT at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
Like the Draper DDT is also the Willow's Bell.
Yeah.
So. Which, can I just say, it's really weird to name a wrestling move after your daughter when, like, trying to murder a man.
I think it's
been on my mind.
You wouldn't want a finisher named the Elizabeth Zink?
Mark, don't use my full name. Yeah, it'd be pretty sick.
Fine.
Or like the Elizabeth Sink.
The Eliza Elaine.
Elizabeth Sink, and then like you drop the person.
Like a pile driver.
Yeah. All right, fine.
God.
Next time somebody asks me what move I would have as like if I were a wrestler, that's what I'm gonna say. So I like yelling at you for using my real name, but then I like post playlists from Spotify onto my social media accounts, and I'm like, that's just my Facebook. It's connected. Whatever.
Yeah.
Drew then gets Kofi up onto his shoulders, and Kofi frees himself, sends some boots into Drew's face, runs at Drew, and gets spinebustered, and then we get a really poor jackknife cover because Drew McIntyre cannot do the jackknife cover for the life of him anymore. There's a big super kick to the head of Drew, and then Kofi goes up top. Drew slugs him. Drew and Kofi are then up top. Kofi refuses. I knew I would yawn again. Kofi refuses to go down. Headbutts Drew. And then Drew is hanging upside down and does that thing where he curls himself up, powerbombs Kofi. I mean, goddamn that core strength, but tired of seeing it. Then a Trouble in Paradise counters the Claymore. Drew, however, gets a rope break in the cover. There's a Hurricane Rana to Drew and a kick on the apron. He sends a boot into Drew's chest ringside. Then Kofi goes off the top rope with what we would imagine would be the finisher. But instead, he gets Claymored mid-air.
Yep.
And Drew McIntyre wins. Ooh.
Yep. And that's where the episode ends. Before we move on to Best of the Night, also I just want to say, for our Q&A segment after the Best of the Night, leave your questions in the chat now so we can see them, and they're there for the Q&A. But I just found an article saying that Anthony Ogogo turned down WWE because he believes in Tony Khan's vision. And there's a quote saying that from Ogogo saying, "I love how the team gives a fuck about their wrestlers. If I'm going through a tough time in a minute, I'm getting texts from the management asking me if I'm okay daily. They care about the people rather than the money. The other place, they seem to care about money first and people, if at all. We care about other people first because they know that a happy workplace creates good stuff." The ironic thing is that WWE probably would not believe in Ogogo's vision because of his injury. He probably wouldn't pass WWE medical, his partial blindness.
Oh. I thought you were making a pun.
I was.
Okay. Well, it is funny because that goes back to like what we were what we talked about yesterday, where it's like AEW cares more about wrestling.
Yeah.
And it seems WWE does.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever there's a match that ends with like somebody coming out and interfering, the match ends first.
Yeah.
The result comes out first, and then you get the interference.
Mm-hmm.
It's rarely, if ever, somebody coming out, except for, I mean, like Don Callis interfered with Kenny Pack and Orange.
But the finish
They
still
didn't necessarily
happened.
decide exactly what was happening.
Yeah. And people who got over still needed to get over. But anyway, just wanted to bring up that article because I thought it was really interesting. Just imagining Anthony Ogogo possibly in WWE.
Deserves better.
He does. Unless it's SmackDown. It'd be fucking great on SmackDown. Imagine him and Roman.
Yeah.
All right,
Doesn't care for the noise.
All right, bests of the night. Let's get into promo of the night. God, was there even a good promo today? Actually, there was. We had Ms. TV. It was hot garbage. Just kidding. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Mark, come on. Where's the enthusiasm?
It's gone. We then had MVP. Oh no, we had Riddle and Damien Priest backstage. That was fine. MVP and Bobby Lashley was like a whole lot of nothing. Reginald and Nia Jackson Gorilla. That was a whole lot of nothing. Drew McIntyre's interview. You're just coming off as a heel, and him being treated like a face throughout the entire episode was not exactly what I would give for promo of the night. Then we had Sheamus in the ring. He does a good job. He's a really good speaker. I wish they would give him a little more intense of a feud, but that was a good promo. We had Eva Marie's promo. We had Elias and Riker backstage, which was just unintentionally hilarious. Kofi's interview was actually great. I thought Kofi is great on the mic, just naturally. But this was like emotional, but not too emotional to where it detracts from the story. Really well done. Then we had Reginald and Nia backstage. That was whatever. Elias running away from Riker was funny. Alexa's Playground was alright. Viking Raiders and Mansoor. It put the picture in my head of Mansoor and Mustafa in a feud or tag team, something. Please let it happen. These guys can go off. Then we had Bobby and MVP in an interview that was fine. I'm not even gonna deliberate. It was Kofi. Kofi's promo fucking was the best thing. Best promo today.
Yeah, I agree. Said a lot of shit that needed to be said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, so then we have Wrestler of the Night. And I think I know what I'm gonna go with, but we started off with Nikki Cross versus Charlotte Flair. I'm going with Nikki because Charlotte did a whole lot of nothing. Nikki barely did anything.
Yeah.
Then we had Randy versus Xavier Woods. I'm going with Randy. Randy's fucking great. Xavier is amazing too, but I just thought Randy had the edge today. He had the edge. Backlash. Yeah. That's all I really gotta say about that. Then we had Reginald versus Shayna Basler. I guess I'll go with Reginald. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. Then we had Mason T-Bar versus Lucha House Party. I'm going with Mace. Mace looked fucking awesome. He really did. He looked like a monster. And that's exactly how he should look. Both him and T-Bar should look like absolute monsters.
Did you see his most recent tweet?
No.
Somebody said, Mace already looks like a monster, just a hell of a handsome one. And he said, some might say, a MILF. Now, I don't know if he's going for a Mace I would like to fuck or a monster I would like to fuck.
Monster I'd like to fuck.
I'm going to go with a Mace I'd like to fuck.
I think it's mother I'd like to fuck.
Is that what you're saying for Mace?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know his life.
You know, I think he's actually a Wita, W-I-T-A. WWE is touring again. I have to give one last one out there. Alright, so after that we had Sheamus versus Ricochet. I'm going with Sheamus, I guess. Then we had Humberto versus Sheamus. I'm actually going to go with Humberto because this was like an actual match until Sheamus was distracted. Sure, I don't know. Then we had Lana, Naomi versus Mandy and Dana. I'll go with Lana. Shelton and Cedric. I'll fucking go with Sheldon. I don't fucking care. I don't know why I wrote Sheldon. Then we had AJ Styles and Omos versus Elias and Riker. I'm going with AJ. I wanted to go with Elias just for leaving that hot mess of a tag team.
That's fair.
But I'm going with AJ. AJ, even if it's a throwaway match like this, he fucking rocks. Then we had Kofi versus Drew, and I 100% am going with Kofi. Kofi showing that wear and tear and delivering some amazing moves in the process. He puts on an amazing match. He really does, constantly. So, with all that said, I guess my pick of the what is this? What segment is this?
News?
Promo of the night is Kofi Kingston. Yeah. Wrestler of the night is Kofi Kingston. Match of the night. Do I even have to go through them? There's a clear winner here. For match of the night. What?
Is it?
I mean, do you want me to just say what my pick is?
Hey, you didn't seem like you wanted to go any further.
Alright, I'll talk about him. Nikki Cross versus Charlotte. This one sucked. Brandy versus Xavier. This is a great match. It was really fun. Much shorter than it should have been. Definitely needed a lot more spots from Xavier. A lot more spotlight. But it was still fun. Then we have Reginald versus Shayna. You know what? I gave this... How many stars did I give this? I think I gave it 3 stars just because of Reginald actually hitting Shayna. It was great. Give us an actual... This was an actual mixed match.
Yeah. This was the closest we've gotten.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then we had Mason T-Bar versus Lucha House Party. Super short. This was a squash. I mean, it was definitely... It had every right to be a squash, but still squash. Then Sheamus versus Humberto. It was interrupted. It was nothing special. And Humberto versus Sheamus. Again, distraction finish. Champion got pinned. It was lame. Lana, Naomi versus Dana and Mandy. I don't remember a single thing that happened in this match, so. Isn't it great when they book the women so well? Give them so much time.
Perfect.
They literally, for 2 weeks in a row, have given the main event women, strictly given them 2 minutes.
said we don't care about women and we're gonna let you know.
Yeah. And then we had Shelton versus Cedric. Ooh, this was 2 seconds. This match deserved more. Deserved better. Then we had AJ and Omos versus Elias and Riker. I gave this match 3 stars just for the breakup.
It's fair.
I loved it. I loved Omos crushing Riker. I loved AJ still popping off. Elias just saying fuck it. This is great. But then we had Kofi versus Drew, which through and through this was a fucking banger. Like, these guys put on an amazing match, even though the finish was kind of lackluster. The action of the finish was amazing. Because that Claymore off of Kofi in midair, that was amazing. Wrong guy won, but still, I loved this match. Every step was amazing. And the face you're giving me is telling me that you're not picking this match just because Drew won.
Don't we sometimes not pick matches because there's interference?
There was no interference in this match.
Right, but I'm just saying that, like, why would it be that crazy that I would just not pick it because I think the result was stupid?
Because, I mean, with interference, that's not the result is stupid. It's still part of the action.
Whatever. I think that Randy versus Xavier was better, but
It's like 4 minutes. 5 minutes, maybe.
it's the one thing that holds me back.
I'm going with Drew and Kofi. I thought this match was gnarly. So it was a Kofi sweep. Promo of the night, Kofi Kingston. Wrestler of the night, Kofi Kingston. Match of the night, Kofi Kingston, Drew McIntyre.
Kofi Mania we deserve.
We do deserve Kofi Mania. Maybe you know what? Maybe they're letting Drew lose at Hell in a Cell so that Kofi can face Bobby at Money in the Bank, and we get Kofi Mania 2.
Kofi Slam.
Huh?
Kofi Slam. Slam.
SummerSlam? Well, I say Money in the Bank because that's the first pay-per-view with a crowd.
Sure.
Well, I guess second now. But first touring pay-per-view with a crowd. Alright, so are there questions? Let me check the YouTube. The YouTubes. If anyone has any questions, please leave them in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, put them in the comments so we can have them there for the next episode. Right, let's see. It doesn't look like there's any questions on YouTube. Okay. And so far, no questions on Twitch. So, Miriam just asked, is WWE touring anytime soon? I don't know. Are they? You'd think they would have said something about it.
Yeah. Maybe they aren't. They haven't said anything about it.
No, I shouldn't buy tickets then.
Mark, seriously. WWE touring.
Are they?
Mark, is WWE touring?
No. Imagine.
This has all been a ruse?
They're just like, no, we're not touring. We're staying in Thunderdome forever.
God, I would stop watching. If they said that we're staying in the Thunderdome forever, I'd just be like, fine, there's no coming out from this.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah. Alright, so, Liz, would you like to close out the show? Unless we receive more questions on Twitch.
I'd love to close out the show because there's fireworks and the cat is losing her shit.
Of course she is.
He really thinks that they are trying to bomb her. They aren't. It's a celebration, Pepita. If you tuned in tonight, thanks. Appreciate it. And if you tuned in the future, thanks. Appreciate it. Use all your good vibes this week to wish that the Yankees win when Mark and I go to see them on Sunday. Outside of that, please join us tomorrow. Tomorrow will be fun, like actually fun, because we'll be talking about NXT, and it'll be a rompin' good time. Because it's NXT. And then we'll be back on Friday after this coming Tuesday for Friday Night SmackDown, which will be fun. Because this is a 4-day work week, and it's better than that.
Yeah.
Sleepy.
Thank you all for watching. Follow, subscribe, all that jazz. If you subscribe to Twitch, you get to watch all for the past 2 weeks of podcasts. So you don't have to wait for me to upload them to YouTube. I uploaded last week's NXT just today. You won't have to wait for that if you subscribe. Won't have to wait. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Subscribe there so you can get our entire catalog of podcasts, of episodes, including Pepita Predicts. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast, as you can see down below. My Twitter is at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And definitely consider subscribing. Twitch. Because not only do you get to see our past episodes immediately, but once we get enough subscribers and I can send out subscriber emails, I'll be giving top 10 lists of all wrestlers, every promotion, into one list. I've already got one laid out. And also ratings of every, you can find out my ratings of every episode of every week. See which shows to watch each week. Get recommendations. All that. We should come up with some more stuff. You also get emotes. We got a Dexter Loomis emote. Putting in the chat. It's fun. There we go. Alright. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow for NXT with LA Knight.
Mark.
Yeah.
WWE touring.